What's up, deckheads? September is already here, and with it comes another humble monthly choice bundle. I'm going to review this month's bundle and tell you whether it's worth your cash or is just plain trash. Keep in mind that throughout all the gameplay footage in this video, my hands are resting in my lap while I play with my deck. That's right, I play and review all these games on Valve's powerfully potent portable, the Steam Deck, to tell you specifically how well each game plays and performs on the device. And in advance, I do need to apologise. I forgot to turn on the FPS counter for the first half of the games. I like to keep it off when I play games myself for better immersion, and forgot to turn it back on for this month's reviews, so I do apologise in advance. And of course, somewhere in this video, I'll announce the winner of last month's Yakuza Like a Dragon Steam Key giveaway. It's easily one of the best bundle choice games this year, so keep a close eye out to see if you won. So far, none of the previous key winners have reached out to me, so hopefully we can break that streak and finally present someone with a free Steam key. Also, I have another Steam key for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy to give away from this month's bundle. Want that key? Just leave a comment on this video. In next month's video, I'll select the winner at random. It's as easy as playing the original Doom after entering IDDQD, IDKFA, and ID Clip. Bit of nostalgia there for us older gamers. Okay. Without further ado, let's get started. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy delivers a compelling and entertaining experience, blending a great storyline with engaging gameplay. Playing it on the Steam Deck has been a journey in itself, filled with a mix of excitement and a few technical challenges. Initially, the game was listed as unsupported, then playable, and then moved to verified, only to fall back to unsupported. Despite this rollercoaster status, I managed to complete the entire game on the deck a year or two ago, and it remains one of my fondest early gaming experiences on the platform. To get the game running smoothly, I had to make some tweaks. Under the game's compatibility settings in Steam, setting it to run using Proton Experimental was essential. Additionally, capping the FPS at 30 and setting all in-game graphics settings to low ensured that the game performed as intended. Despite these low settings, the graphics still looked pretty decent on the deck's smaller screen, and the game ran smoothly. The only downside was the battery life, which even on the low settings, clocked in at about 1.5 hours, something to keep in mind for longer gaming sessions. The gameplay itself is where Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy truly shines. Controlling Peter Quill while issuing commands to the other Guardians offers a unique and satisfying experience. Comboing abilities together adds depth to the combat, making each battle feel dynamic and strategic. But perhaps the best part is the team rallying speeches, complete with nostalgic tunes from Peter's Walkman. These moments pump up both the characters and the player, helping to fully immerse the player and get them excited in each battle they use this ability. Overall, despite the technical hurdles and the need for tweaks to run the game on the Steam Deck, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a must-play. Its fantastic storyline, immersive gameplay, and the joy of leading the Guardians through their adventure makes it a standout title.
Guardians of the Galaxy!
Nope, she's good.
Stranded: Alien Dawn brings an enjoyable RTS survival experience to the Steam Deck, though with some limitations. The game runs well with about 3 hours of battery life, providing a solid mobile experience. One standout feature is the task management system, where you can customize each survivor's priorities based on their skills. Survivors autonomously take on the tasks you assign according to the individual schedules you've created for them. Combat feels like a traditional, if somewhat simple RTS, where you can draft armed survivors and issue direct orders. However, navigating menus can be a bit awkward, especially since the game locks out mouse and keyboard support when a controller is detected. This prevents the use of the trackpads, which is a shame because they seem like they would be the perfect fit for this game on the deck. The tutorial is necessary but feels taxing, taking around 90 minutes and suffering from a bug that requires mouse over interactions, which of course deck users can't do, having been locked out from mouse controls. This gives deck users no choice but to abandon the tutorial from the second to last lesson, which is very disappointing. Despite this, the overall gameplay provides a familiar but enjoyable survival experience. While not entirely groundbreaking, Stranded: Alien Dawn introduces enough mechanics to keep things interesting. especially if you're a fan of task management and the strategic aspects of survival games. Enjoying the video so far? Make sure to give it a thumbs up to help others find it, and click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future Deckhead content. Playing Coral Island on the Steam Deck is an enjoyable experience, although it does come with a few quirks. The battery lasts about 1.5 hours, which while not embarrassingly short, still seems to be a low amount for a game that graphically does not appear to be that complex. The small text on the deck screen can also be a bit of a strain, making it a challenge to read in-game dialogue and menus comfortably. Character customization is decent, allowing for a fair amount of personalization, though it doesn't break any new ground. However, the built-in keyboard is a helpful feature, especially when interacting with various in-game interfaces. A problem with the deck's keyboard overlay is that it blocks out some of the game screen and feels invasive. While the UI is not as well executed with Coral Island's in-game keyboard, it does make the experience more immersive than games that rely on the deck's keyboard. While the visuals aren't particularly stunning, they possess a charming quality that suits the game's tone. More importantly, Coral Island runs smoothly on the deck, with great performance throughout. Gameplay is engaging, obviously drawing heavy inspiration from Harvest Moon. The familiar loop of cultivating a farm, growing crops, selling them for profit, and reinvesting in the farm is satisfying and well executed. There are also additional activities like dungeon crawling, as well as fishing and bug catching, which contribute to building up the museum's exhibits, one of the primary goals of the game. These elements add variety to the core farming gameplay, keeping things fresh and interesting. The storyline, while somewhat predictable, is enjoyable and offers a clear progression goal which complements the sandbox style of gameplay very well. It's a game that's easy to get lost in, with plenty to do and a sense of accomplishment that grows as you farm and other endeavors thrive. Overall, Coral Island is a solid game on the Steam Deck, offering a charming and engaging experience despite its minor drawbacks. If you're a fan of farming sims or just looking for a cozy game to unwind with, this one's definitely worth a try. It's time to announce the winner of last month's Yakuza Like a Dragon Steam Key giveaway. Congratulations to Rick Cornelison3466. Send a message to the user DeckisHeadus on Reddit to claim your key. Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? You do. In SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, players take on the role of the titular SpongeBob in a 3D platforming adventure. The graphics are vibrant and impressive, and the performance is stable. It's a charming 3D action platformer with a well-paced storyline, full of the humour that fans have come to expect from the SpongeBob SquarePants series.
Sandy's house feels wetter than usual.
The game is a visually delightful experience that runs smoothly on the Steam Deck, though its battery life only lasts about 1.5 hours. This is without a doubt due to the vibrant visuals and rock-solid performance, but it does feel a tad short for a platforming game. A typical storyline, SpongeBob is tasked with finding his missing friends and undoing the havoc he has brought on Bikini Bottom.
Well, I miss my Care Bear!
The game's dialogue is fully voiced by the original voice actors, which is rare for a TV-based game, and this really helps capture the authentic feel of Bikini Bottom. From Patrick to Squidward, the whole cast is present, making the experience feel like an interactive episode of the show.
How am I supposed to paint my newest masterpiece?
Gameplay-wise, it sticks to the tried and true formula of 3D platformers, but it manages to keep things fresh with diverse settings and fun gameplay activities such as riding a seahorse, preventing the experience from becoming too repetitive. The environments are lovingly recreated, bringing Bikini Bottom to life with stunning detail and nostalgic charm. If you're a fan of the show, you'll appreciate how faithful it feels to the world that's been built over the years. Overall, it's a fun and well-rounded adventure on the deck.
Oh, don't bite. Too unsanitary.
Lost Eidolons on the Steam Deck is an engaging experience for fans of tactical RPGs, particularly those who enjoy the Fire Emblem series. The game is essentially a Fire Emblem clone, but with noticeably better graphics, making it visually more appealing. The cinematic cutscenes are particularly well crafted, drawing players into the fantasy world with their high production value. Moreover, the fully voiced dialogue, delivered with excellent acting, significantly enhances the immersion, bringing characters and story moments to life. The battle sequences, which include in-battle cinematics as characters engage enemies, are not only well animated, but are arguably better executed than those in the Fire Emblem series. The game also employs a similar strength and weakness system, though instead of focusing on weapon versus weapon dynamics, it uses a weapon versus armor approach. This provides a familiar, yet slightly different tactical layer that keeps combat fresh. The storyline follows a somewhat typical fantasy RPG path, yet it manages to be unique enough to keep players interested. However, there is one early plot twist that, while impactful, feels very out of place based on what little is known about the character that suggests it. Despite this, the narrative remains engaging as players progress.
To protect yourself.
After a few hours of gameplay, players unlock a camp where they can complete side quests and interact with the various characters who have joined their band of heroes. This adds a layer of depth to the game, allowing for character development and additional story content outside of the main plot. Running the game on the Steam Deck offers a decent battery life of about 1.5 hours, which is fairly standard for a title with such graphical demands. Overall, Lost Eidolons provides a solid tactical RPG experience on the go, with its high-quality visuals, well-acted voiceovers, and despite one very slight flaw, an engaging story. Astrea Six-Sided Oracles offers a refreshing take on the roguelite genre with its unique and engaging combat system centered around dice. In this game, players must make tough decisions with each die. Corruption rolls heal enemies, while purification is the key to defeating them. In contrast, corruption damages the player, while purification heals them. This creates a constant tension between managing your own corruption levels and purifying enemies to overcome them. The strategy doesn't end there. The higher your own corruption levels rise, the more powerful abilities you unlock, leading to a dynamic risk-reward system that requires skillful management of corruption and health. What's more, purify, corruption, and ability rolls specify use on the enemy, the player, any target, or all characters. Balancing these conflicting forces becomes key to success, with decisions often boiling down to whether to damage your enemies, heal yourself, heal your enemies to avoid damaging yourself, damage yourself to avoid over-corrupting your enemies and making them stronger, or even protect your enemies from any future corruption. I know it sounds complex just explaining it, but it's really easy to pick up and it allows for some really deep strategies every turn. The system of upgrades further enhances the strategy. Players are regularly offered safe, balanced, and risky dice that allow for nuanced customization to suit any playstyle. At specific points within a stage, dice can be further modified with more powerful rolls and abilities, or even copied entirely to create powerful synergies. This gives players the ability to tailor their dice pool to their liking and adapt to the specific challenges they face. Much like Slay the Spire, Astrea offers a typical progression system where players navigate multiple paths leading to a stage boss. Along the way, you'll encounter rewards, random events, and high-risk challenges with the potential to earn large rewards. On the Steam Deck, the game runs smoothly with a battery life of around 2 hours. The graphics, while not a major focus of the game, are clear and stylized in a way that complements the gameplay. Recently, I found myself burnt out from the overwhelming number of roguelikes and deck building games, but this game has been extremely refreshing. If you're looking for something both unique and engaging in the roguelite genre, Astrea Six-Sided Oracles is an easy recommend. Infraspace on the Steam Deck offers a familiar city building experience reminiscent of Cities Skylines, but with a space-themed twist. Its relaxing gameplay loop consists of constructing buildings, gathering resources, and gradually expanding your settlements. The game features a technology tree where players can choose which advancements their city will focus on, though the process is more passive compared to the hands-on research mechanics found in other titles. In terms of compatibility with the Steam Deck, performance is solid and the trackpad functions well as a mouse replacement, making the game truly shine on the deck. However, a major downside is the small text size, which can be challenging to read on the deck's screen. The magnifier tool can alleviate this somewhat, but having to rely on it frequently breaks the immersion and might get tiresome. Battery life is about 2.5 hours, giving you a decent amount of time to enjoy the game's chilled pace before needing a recharge. While Infraspace provides a relaxing city building experience, it doesn't quite have the depth or engagement to sustain long-term play for most gamers. It's a game that will likely appeal more to players looking for a brief diversion rather than a deep, time-consuming simulation. If you've made it this far through the video, you're clearly a deckhead, so hit that subscribe button and come join your cohort.
Really? We're doing this?
The aptly named You Suck at Parking is a delightfully simple yet increasingly challenging game on the Steam Deck with a solid 4 hours of battery life per session. The premise is straightforward. Park in all available spots before your fuel runs out. However, the challenge comes from the game's core rule. No reversing, only accelerating, steering, and braking, which turns parking into a skillful test of control. As you progress, the game ramps up in difficulty, requiring precision and quick reactions to pull off some tricky parking maneuvers. Thankfully, the controls are slick and responsive, ensuring that any failures feel like they stem from the player's mistakes rather than the game's mechanics. This is crucial for a game that relies so heavily on tight control, and it nails this aspect. The levels are tied together by a well-designed overworld that breaks up the pace nicely, providing a brief moment of respite between increasingly difficult stages. The overall experience encourages players to perfect the art of parking, transforming what seems like a simple task into an addictive pursuit of mastery. You Suck at Parking will have you striving to park with the precision of a seasoned pro, providing plenty of fun along the way. That's it for all the games in this month's bundle. But wait, what about the Rue Valley Alpha Test, you ask? You mean access to an unfinished Epic Store game that runs out at the end of this month, giving the illusion of added value? Nice try, Epic and Bundle. Nice try. Apart from that very last questionable addition, I do think there are enough enjoyable titles in this month's bundle to make it worth it. But if you see yourself only playing Guardians, which is clearly the best title in this bundle, it's probably better to get it when it's on sale, or even try your luck and leave a comment on this video to try and win the Steam Key giveaway, with a winner announced in next month's video. If you haven't already, make sure to give the video a thumbs up to help others find it, and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future Humble Choice reviews on the Steam Deck. See you next time, deckheads.
Pelma fin sardu.